Hey everyone, I'm Meg Tucker. Today we are going to make brown butter. Let's go. So I am melting about a half a cup of butter, and I have my heat turned up quite high. So on my electric stove right now it's set to about 8, but that's just to get the initial half cup melted. Then I'm going to turn it down to about probably medium to medium high, so around a 6 or a 7 just on my gauge. And what I want to do is first of all melt the butter. Now, great debate between salted and unsalted butter for brown butter. I choose salted because then it's already going to come out as a salted brown butter, but you can definitely use an unsalted and then adjust the flavor, adjust the seasoning. So once you've got your butter melted, it's kind of a science experiment, and you want to keep the spatula or the spoon moving in your pan. You can see that it's going to go through a number of stages. Okay, so my butter is completely melted, and then it's going to start to boil. Now I have a pretty wide saucepan, which is helping because there's more surface area. If you were to have a more narrow, taller pot, it's going to take a little bit longer to make your brown butter, but the whole process only takes a couple of minutes. Again, this is a half a cup of butter, so just keep stirring it. And what's going to happen is you're going to start to see the bubbles. It's going to go through a number of stages. The first stage is smelling unbelievable. So it's melting, it's bubbling, and it's going to start to separate. Essentially what you're doing is evaporating a whole layer off. So look for those bubbles. Don't ignore it. This isn't something you will walk away from. Give it a stir, help it along, and be patient. And then I'm going to tell you, when it gets to the stage where it goes from creamy yellow to nutty brown, you're going to want to remove it fairly quickly because it can turn very fast, and that's liquid gold you don't want to ruin. I'm going to switch to a spoon so you can see. Give it a stir. Let it do its thing. Now in just a minute or two, it's going to get very quiet, and then it's going to produce a foam across the top. When the foam hits, that's when your butter is starting to brown underneath. So it gets noisy before it gets quiet. It's getting quieter. I haven't adjusted the temperature. As you can see, it's getting nice and quiet. I always use a spatula. I love cooking with a spatula. Just let it soften. Take a swipe through the bottom of your pan. I haven't done anything to the temperature, and you're going to hear that it's getting nice and quiet. Now it's going to start to foam. It's turning. Now, if you can see, the foam is starting to come up the sides of the pan, and if you take a quick swipe, we've immediately gone from golden to nutty brown, and we officially have just made brown butter. Let that foam go for just another couple of seconds. Turn your burner off and immediately pour into a bowl. This is molten lava hot, so be careful you don't burn yourself. But I want to show you. Look at that nutty awesome brown. That's brown butter, kids. Super easy to make in under 5 minutes. Thanks for watching. I'm Meg Tucker. Check me out, megtucker.ca.